The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign, trusted by over 500 NFL players for their winning smiles, and broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now your host, Nicole Hutchison.
Welcome into Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign here in the SWBC studio. I'm Nicole Hutchison alongside Brianna Aldridge and Aisha Morrison. Ladies, what's up? It's 8 a.m. Wake up!
Good morning.
Wake
Good
up!
morning. What day is it? Wednesday. I had to look at my phone.
It's Tuesday.
Oh my gosh.
What?
It's Wednesday.
Boy, is
Look at okay. I look at my phone. It's Wednesday. It's okay though.
Yeah,
Cause Tuesday
miércoles.
it's closed. Tuesday was yesterday. We were also here. So
I've been taking Spanish.
Sister.
I hope that was right.
Here she go.
I hope it was right.
She's bilingual.
It's time. It's time to talk some ball. You know, we always just get straight into it. I love that for us. Cowboys take on the Chicago Bears in Week 3. It's quite funny because the Bears seem to be. Well, let's talk about it. The Bears allowed 52 points to the Detroit Lions in Week 2, but it's funny because I just feel like the Bears are struggling in areas that the Cowboys are. I don't want to say struggling, not saying struggle, but like not their strong suit, but could still take advantage, so to speak, right? Offensive line struggles. I know that their tackle has allowed a team high 12 pressures. Braxton Jones, Caleb Williams also been pressured up the middle as well. So certainly some issues with the offensive line, but there's a little bit of good things that they do as well. But let's talk about it. Cowboys, Bears, what do you feel stands out the most about this Bears team offensively?
Well, initially for me, what stood out are the pre-snap penalties. It's funny because I remember talking about it here on the show I was worried about the Dallas offense transitioning to doing all the new motions, all the new shifts and all that stuff. And let me tell you, Ben, brother, you need to remember you ain't in Detroit no more. And I think that he is trying to implement his offense there, which is, the Lions offense back when Ben Johnson was there, a lot of window dressing, a lot of trying to get the defense off kilter before the snap. And that's what they're trying to implement there. But this offensive line, like you ladies just mentioned, is struggling with the false starts. And also, too, some of the shifts. They're getting flags. And also, too, something that I saw is that the quarterback's cadence as well is throwing them off. So they're trying to figure out what works well for this offensive operation right now, and the mixture of the communication between the offensive line and quarterback seems like it's not where it needs to be just yet, and we see that in their offensive efficiency to start. That's one thing that stood out to me.
The Bears are tied with the Patriots for the most offensive penalties. That's 12 through
Not a good.
two
Not
games.
a good.
I don't think that's
category
good,
to be in.
Yeah.
Before we get in, I know we'll dive into the offense and stuff today, but the first thing that stands out, like, this was a team that had some pretty high expectations, which was because of Ben Johnson coming in there. And I think people forgot about the growing pains for a first-time head coach. You see this all the time in the league. I mean, our defensive coordinator, you saw it, was a stud on the defensive side of the ball, got to the head coaching position, and it's a different ball game. And I think Ben Johnson's getting a taste of that. I think this is a Chicago Bears team who knew there was going to be growing pains, not only with second-year quarterback, talking about Caleb Williams, but like I mentioned, the head coach. So I think this was a team, if people don't realize, that there was a lot stacked on the defense. This was a team that was expected for the defense to carry them and then have a serviceable offense that would get better throughout the season. They invested highly in that defensive line. They paid some guys in the DB room, which we'll talk about more tomorrow, who obviously have been affected early with injuries. And then they also paid a wide receiver who they thought was going to ball out, who's kind of fading a little bit right now, to a second-year wide receiver. So I just think they're collapsing a little bit because of who they were trying to be, which was, to me, even though they do have a former OC who took over in that position, this was a team that was built to be defensive one of the top 10 defensive teams. That is not happening right now. There is no pass rush going on. They are, you mentioned on the other side of the ball, offensive line is kind of leaving Caleb Williams hanging. And Caleb Williams is a quarterback who works well when he's not under pressure. And I think one positive thing you can take away from this Bears team and Bears Nation, if you will, a lot of the beat writers, there's still positivity that there is improvement from Caleb Williams from last year. But also just from game 1 to game 2, even though I know that score doesn't reflect. But both of those games, if you were watching, they were in it, and it looked like something, especially in the beginning, even though they got blown out here at the end. But it was momentum things that had happened. So there is some positive happening with this team. But again, I think they're trying to figure things out because their defense is letting them down in a big way.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to add on to what you were talking about. One thing you've seen from them is that we talk about the opening script. I don't want to lean on that too much because I feel like everybody's going to talk about it. But I will say that it seems like when things kind of go off of schedule and things like that, that the offense, that the quarterback is struggling to adjust to the flows of the game. And I think one thing that you'll see in both of these games, specifically the game last week, is that, in the second half, they go 3 and out right away. They have a 4th and 1. They have a 2nd and 1. So also, too, they're struggling in some of these short yardage situations where they have invested in this offensive line. They have invested in this offensive line, and they're not seeing, outside of Darnell, right? You're not seeing the quality of play, especially in those short yardage situations, to your point, Bree, to help out your quarterback and to continue drives as well. So it's just, I understand why the Chicago folks would be like, trying to be patient with what's going on, and that's totally normal. But I understand their concerns from week 1 to week 2 at this point, especially when you let the Lions put up 52 on you. Mercy, that's.
But you know what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to underestimate anybody because I was a little relaxed when talking about the Giants, and then Russell Wilson just had the game of his life against the Cowboys, and that was some scary stuff. So, I'm not letting the 52-21 beatdown go away. Feels like Ben Johnson, your old team comes in and destroys you, and you're still looking for your first win as a head coach. Shotty knows what it's like to want that feeling for your first win. He just got his, so kind of interesting now that you're facing a head coach who's going to do everything he can in his power not to go 0-3 in his first year.
Yeah, and when you talk about it, the scary things that they do have, the pieces that they do have, Bree, you mentioned it, the receivers, right? Even though DJ Moore is somewhat not having, it's only week 2, so we can't really say too much.
Yeah.
But, not his best start, we'll say. He's still a weapon for Caleb Williams. So is Rome. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm having a very hard time saying his last name. Adunze.
That's perfect.
It's fun to say.
Right.
Rome Adunze.
They got some names. The running back room.
Man.
Watch when you get there. It's fine.
Even the other one. Olamide. Receiver. It's fine. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I cannot say your name. Zacchaeus. All right.
I think that's.
He only had one.
It's fine. 2 receptions, 12 yards, not that much. But Adunze is really his go-to weapon, so to speak. But when you talk about the secondary for the Cowboys, they allowed the 9th most passing yards in Cowboys history last week.
History is crazy.
Yeah, it's really sick. But which wide receiver matchups are the biggest mismatches for Dallas's secondary, considering what they do have and the struggles that the Cowboys have, the pieces that we are struggling with so far? Aisha, what you got?
Oh, I'm trying to be respectful, but all of them.
Okay.
Like, from what you saw last week, the amount of miscommunications on the back end, I think the Dallas secondary are just gonna have to play. To me, they're gonna have to play smart. This is a team that, when they are able to use play action, Caleb Williams statistically does better when they are using play action. But what I'm mostly looking at is the fact that if Dallas is not going to get pressure, I think that's the biggest one of the biggest parts. You see a drastic drop in Caleb Williams' efficiency when he is blitzed, specifically when throwing to the middle of the field and outside the numbers. I think when he's kept clean, it takes it's a 92.3 score, and then when he's blitzed, it goes down to 40. That is a huge drop. So that lets you know, And that's something that you did see last week, is that some of that interior pressure was getting through. I thought the Detroit Lions used some timely blitzes, and I felt like coming out in that second half that Bears offense was just kind of shaken, and that they could not figure it. It spiraled from them. So for me, I think you're going to have to figure out how to get pressure on this guy, because this is, even though Caleb is struggling right now and he has his issues, he is very mobile. He is a guy also, too, that will roll out, use his legs, make plays on the run. So the Dallas secondary, especially if they opt to play zone again the whole time.
Stop. The entire 97.5%
The whole time.
of the time.
I think that's going to, they have to be aware of those windows and traveling with the receiver when he breaks into scramble drill, because I think we're going to see that a lot. So for me, I think just keeping your eyes to the quarterback, playing sound, playing for the person next to you, and not just doing what you want to do out there in the streets or on the field. So, yeah, for me, I think the Dallas secondary just needs to play together and figure out what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'll get more into, like, the coverages and stuff, but right now it's just like, when he breaks scramble drill, what y'all going to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, what you got?
I think the biggest difference from Caleb Williams and Russell Wilson, I know you were talking about him scrambling, but a lot of what I saw him, or what he can do, is different. He can run the ball without the scramble. He's going to find some grass if you leave it open. The boy can run. And their running back situation, especially in week 1, they're mixing things up. Like, they're having DJ Moore running, like, in the backfield, or they're trying it. That is something Ben Johnson said going back to training camp, that, this is a guy they just paid $110 million for a 4-year contract extension before the 2024 season. And so when Ben Johnson came in, he said this is a guy he wants to touch the ball as much as possible. And then he meant it. Week 1, he was in the backfield like a running back. Didn't really see that in week 2. And of course, that comes to Mr. Odunze kind of taking the light. He's been able to find the end zone 2 weeks in a row, 2 times last week. So that's who I'm looking at as the biggest threat, as I'm assuming DJ Moore will come more into. I'm not fading him out like a lot of the Bears fans are doing right now, calling for a trade if you're looking around social media, which I think is hilarious because it's only week 2. And DJ Moore has led that wide receiver room 2 seasons in a row since he got to Chicago. But the other thing that kind of stands out to me, because you mentioned it, Nicole, like, there's been some flaws that are similar. And one thing, when I was watching some highlights, just seeing how Odunze was getting into the end zone, and you could hear the people calling the game talking about the Lions defense. They're in zone. And it looks like there's some miscommunication. I'm like, this looks like we just talked, literally what you just said.
No, seriously, that's
Odunze, his ability to
past you.
see
Yeah.
if you give him too much space, because what I saw, the same thing that was happening, the corners were playing them a little bit deep, and there was a linebacker who was expecting, it kind of reminded me, we saw Sanborn getting beat a lot, a couple times, one too many times.
covers this game.
Yeah, and that's exactly, he took advantage of that and made his way in the end zone and literally cut from one side of the field, saw the one-on-one matchup that was happening with the linebacker and took it and went all the way to the end zone because the corners was giving him too much space. He's a very quick guy, good size. Let's see here, 128 passing yards is what he got, and that is a game that Detroit came and did their thing on them. He led receivers on both ends, and then he also had the longest pass catch of the day for both teams at 37 yards, which I thought was interesting as well. And like I said, this game, if you watched in the beginning, looked kind of fun until that turnover came and the momentum kind of shifted, and you saw things go way downhill. But don't count out this offense. They have the pieces.
Definitely, and they definitely looking at you like, well, are you going to be able to stop it? Are you going to pressure them? Two other things is I think the tight end position for them is, I'm sure they want to get them involved this game. Cole Kmet, Colston Loveland that they drafted this year. I do look to see if Dallas does exactly what you just said. Well, if the Bears do exactly what you just said, Bree, and take advantage of your linebackers in coverage. That they have struggled there. You can see that teams are attacking them in the flats and also too in the intermediate part of the field. So that is something that I'm looking for, not only with the receivers getting going, as you're talking about, because to your point, Bree, if I am Chicago and I'm looking at film from last week, I'm like, oh, okay, our offense, let's see if we can get our offense going. You know, like I just am, and I hate that that's the reality, but it is the reality. You mentioned DJ Moore running out the backfield. They're confusing to me because I 100% thought that the Bears would invest in drafting a running back in this past draft, and they did not. Obviously, DeAndre Swift is a guy that has some respect. I think he does well following behind the tackles and finding little breaks in the offensive line. But at the same time, I do think that I expect to see more Roshan Johnson. Maybe that's a wrinkle that they throw out there. So it's week 2, so I feel like they made 3 rather. So I think that they might throw some things at you that maybe you don't expect just to get their guys, kind of lift their spirits. Because one thing I feel like from this game and last game is, baby, when things start not going their way, you can see it in their body language. You can see it. You can see that they were kind of down after going 3 and out to come out in the half. You could see them on the sidelines and stuff. So how do they? If I'm Dallas, I'm going to try to hit these guys in the mouth and make them have to deal with adversity, because I think that they're still trying to figure out some things from a leadership perspective, and also really gel as a locker room with a whole new staff and all this stuff going on over there.
Yeah.
Nicole.
You made a good point about the linebackers. I was actually about to ask about how much they feel like you feel like that the Bears could possibly take advantage considering what they saw last week. But it kind of goes back to, we haven't seen Maris a lot, and he's probably one of your best guys, all around linebackers, so to speak. I really want to. I feel like nobody's asked about that either. I think.
Well, they did last week, and then this week.
I think we're trying to like tiptoe around it.
Get 3 more snaps in the following week.
Yeah.
After, because what Shoddy and Eberflus kind of backed up is that he earned those snaps, and then the snaps came up 3 from the week before, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm sure it'll come up today.
It has to be. It has to.
I'm very much confused on that.
So you ladies have not gotten any information on what's going on there with why this is happening?
And Monday, what was Monday?
What do you mean?
They didn't have the locker room Monday.
Just Shoddy talked. I don't think anybody asked that. I think they were trying to figure out how Russell Wilson had the game of his life, so it kind of...
Yeah. And Tuesday they're off, so then today would be the day to
sure
find
it'll
out
come
about
up.
that.
Yeah. That's when you start looking at the snap counts and all, getting a little more into it. But
I'm going to go up to him and ask him, because I want to know. I want to know the tea. Hopefully
Please, somebody, anybody. I mean, because it's very odd. I think the second level right now, although we haven't talked about him, I thought that Kenneth Murray played a far better game. Far more decisive in the run. You see him knifing through, making plays. I felt like he came downhill and tackled a lot better this game. I liked his decisiveness. Love that for you. Neither one of your linebackers that are on the field can cover. That's a problem. And people are going to continue to go at it until it's not a problem. We knew that Sanborn coming into, I seen from the film in Chicago, this ain't a coverage guy. This is a stop the run, fill in the run, sees it and goes, not super fast, but he's going to get there and make the tackle or affect the play. Maris Leofau probably is your most athletic linebacker as of right now. Now, is this a trust thing? Is this a communication thing? Is this because this is what you see as your base? What is it is going on to where they don't feel like maybe they don't feel like he's ready to be out there? That's the only thing I can think of. But Maris has been known as IQ guy, so I don't understand. Even coming out of college, people talked about his processing skills and stuff. So
even considering he played the green dot last year, so you can't forget about that. And maybe it's just a situation of where Eberflus is comfortable with, Jack Sanborn. He's played under his system. And then maybe he just wants another veteran out there that has obviously had experience too. So you never really know, but today will be the day to find out. And we are going to find out. Hello. All right, bet. We're going to take our first break, though, and I do want to dive into Cowboys' defensive line, Bears' offensive line, where the most weakest spots that they can attack. And we'll be right back with more Girls Talk, Boys Talk after the break.
How does the cheerleader's hair always look so perfect? We asked, and they shared one of their biggest beauty secrets. If you want hair like theirs and confidence to match, use Babyliss Pro styling tools. The Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders use Babyliss Pro curling irons to get those perfect game day curls. To get the hair you see on the cheerleaders, head to BabylissPro.com. Use the code Cowboys20 for 20% off Babyliss Pro tools, the official styling tools of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Get the discount while it lasts. Offer may be withdrawn at any time at advertiser's discretion.
When you're on the field, you know what it takes to lead your team and play with confidence. But that confidence shouldn't just stop at game time. It should follow you off the field, too. Join over 500 NFL players who trust Invisalign, the #1 doctor-recommended clear aligner brand. Ready to take the first step towards a smile you'll love? Visit Invisalign.com/NFL and find a doctor near you today. Transform your smile and take your confidence to the next level, both on the field and off.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
All right, Cowboys fans, this one's for us. If the men in your life bleed blue and silver like we do, I've found the perfect way to elevate their game day rituals. Gillette just released their best razor in Cowboys colors, and it is everything a Cowboys fan could want. The new Gillette Labs official Dallas Cowboys licensed razor combines his Cowboys pride with Gillette's best shave. And with 50% longer lasting blades, it is truly the gift that keeps on giving. Get it while you can at Gillette.com/NFL. Gillette's best shave is also available as heated.
The countdown to game day starts with Rally Days, presented by SeatGeek. Get a behind-the-scenes look at AT&T Stadium. Meet the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders and alumni, play games, win prizes, and more. Get your tickets at AT&TStadium.com/rallydays.
Woo! Welcome back in, girls. Wake up! There we go. There we go. Welcome back into Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign here. SWBC Studio, Nicole Hutchison, Brianna Aldridge, and Aisha Morrison. Ladies, it's time to dive into deeper of this offensive line from the Bears. Defensive line, Cowboys. Where are the weakest spots? Of course, they're all struggling across the board. But where are some weaker spots that the Cowboys could attack?
I mean, I would say the center. It's definitely a place where you can attack. I feel like the Dallas Cowboys defensive line, you see that majority, you were just running off some stats about Kenny Clark and also Digizua. That's where the majority of your pressure is coming from. Try to get him to, if it were me, I would try to funnel Caleb Williams to the outside, and if he is going to scramble, that your guys come up and tackle. Try to contain him the best that you can, because he is a gentleman, like I said, that will break, contain, and make you pay. So for me, I think I would try to attack the center and the left tackle. Now, we said this going into last week as well. So I'm not trying to put a whole bunch of stock into it, but those are the two main places where I would be trying to go after this Bears offensive line. Darnell Wright is not somebody that you really gonna move around like that. He's playing pretty well right now, especially in the run game. But yeah, that's where I would attack and make them have to. If they gotta run the ball, make them have to do it, because they're having a lot of trouble. Better in pass blocking as a whole, this Bears offensive line, but they struggle in run blocking situations. I think the Dallas Cowboys can put the behind the sticks in some of those situations. What you got?
I mean, there's not a strong point. I think that's the problem. And
at all.
Last season, if I'm not mistaken, they gave up the most sacks in the league, and they thought, they made some improvements there, and you haven't seen them. Again, it's only week 2. The most complaints I've seen from Bears Nations is a left tackle position. So I guess if you want to pinpoint the weakest link, but I think that can really change depending on scheme. I have a lot of confidence in what's happening in our interior line, as I think most of Cowboys Nation is. So, okay, how do we use this, guys? How do we double team? How do we find the weak point? I have confidence they'll be able to do that this week, because that's been one of the most consistent pieces. Of course, the challenge is going to come with the edges and how they get involved. But yeah, not looking. I mean, honestly, for the Bears on both sides of the ball, when we get into more in defense tomorrow, they're getting moved off the line of scrimmage. That's what I saw consistently, and how it's hard to win football games when your offensive line is getting moved off the ball.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
quite a few pressures coming from that left side.
Quite a few.
Yes, seven on the year already. It's most of the hurries, most of the sacks, all that stuff is coming from over there. So if I'm Dallas, then I attack there. If you do decide to blitz to this week, maybe, hopefully.
Who's your blitzer?
Who do what?
Who you want blitzing?
Well, sugar honey. I think it depends. Like I guess you would say. I think you need to. Me personally, I think, especially with what's going on in the back end, it's kind of like a give or take thing. Because typically I'm like, I don't want you to have to blitz to get pressure. And then I'm like, well, do it matter? Because you going, if you pass the ball downfield and if you did. No, I'm being honest. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just saying, like, I would be maybe from the nickel. We saw them do it a couple times. It was run blitzing. Yeah. But Reddy Stewart came up and made some tackles in the run with some blitzing situations early. So maybe you do it from the nickel position because you need them to get there and get there quickly. I can say that. How about that?
That still leaves you vulnerable in the back end.
You vulnerable on the back end anyway, right now. Until they figure out, until they show you that they're not. I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm being for real with you. I would rather take the risk right now. I would rather take the risk. Now, I understand, I'm not trying to freak out about what happened last week because I do understand that this secondary is taking a big jump playing predominantly zone. I understand that. Like, I understand that this is a different scheme and everything. But at the same time, I'm trying to be like, you know what? Maybe they'll figure some things out this week. Still, I still believe that as this pass rush, especially these edges try to get their legs under them, and some of these guys are still learning and stuff like that, you're going to have to find other ways to get pressure because people cannot just sit back there, eat chips, say what's up, dap you up, and pass the ball downfield. Like, I don't think any of us can take seeing all of those busted plays and them splitting your zones all day. And again, like Bree said, they do have the offensive weapons to do it.
Yeah.
They do have the offensive weapons to do it. So, that's how I would handle it. What about you, Bree?
Yeah. We got to call it real quick, ladies. Hold on, my bad. Sorry, let's get to it real quick. We got...
Somebody's calling?
Yes, we do.
I'm hoping.
We have Lester out of... Nope. Oh, I didn't get it. Oh, I didn't get a thing. What's your name? Say it. Come on, tell us your name.
This is Vach Lombardi calling from the highway. What's happening?
What up? My guy, what's poppin'?
Just driving down, listening to the best Cowboys radio podcast program in the morning.
I'm screwed.
And I heard y'all talking about offensive line, and I just wanted to tap in a little bit because we ain't doing nothing else. You feel me?
Period.
So as far as the Bears' offensive line goes, they put a bunch of money on the inside, so the guards like real good. The center can be attacked, but if your guards are good, sometimes your center ends up being good. Let me tell you something. Left tackle Braxton Jones, right tackle Darnell Wright. Part of me wants to say go get them, you know what I'm saying? But I need the Cowboys pass rush to do their part, you know what I mean? Because last week it was like, Elliman and Hudson, go get them too. But you know what I'm saying? Like, we just didn't go get them. So, assuming the Cowboys pass rush have a really good day, then I think that they can beat up on left tackle Jones there and right tackle Wright, assuming that they do the right thing. But let me say one more thing, and I'm going to let y'all go. Let me just say one more thing, and I'm going to let y'all go.
Good.
Y'all show so fantastic. Yeah, no. Y'all show so fantastic. I'm not going to just sit up on her all day. Let me tell you how good Kenny Clark has been. Kenny Jerome Clark has been so damn good.
Jerome.
He makes sure everybody else is comfortable at home. Y'all remember at camp, Solomon Thomas, who's like 298 pounds? He was your starting one tech once upon a time, right? Starting one tech, taking on double teams, all up in A-gap, getting moved around, but he was the best you had, right? Kenny Jerome Clark walks into town. Solomon Thomas get to go back home. 3 tech, sometimes at 5. So now what you see Solomon do is beating up on guards, beating up on tackles, tight ends, or whatever. So now, slowly but surely, Solomon Thomas turned into one of your best run defenders because Kenny Jerome Clark get to live in A-gap. Also, Diggy Zua get to go be free because Kenny Jerome Clark lines up at A-gap. So I just wanted to let it be known. because we ain't really talking about it a whole bunch. But Kenny Jerome Clark may be one of the best things that have happened to you. And I got one question. I'm going to leave this here, and I'm going to just leave because y'all show so fantastic.
Go ahead.
No. I'm leaving. I'm leaving. If Michael Parsons was on this team, would the run defense be so good? I'm leaving. I'm going. Bye. Holla at y'all. Good show. Peace.
First of all, I'm sick of him because he definitely went to go find this name, this kid.
He gonna make me. He gonna have me calling him Kenny Jerome Clark.
Is that really
That's crazy.
his middle name?
I think it is.
Because sometimes he just be renaming. Sometimes he just got that
He's a
spirit
sicko.
on him where he be renaming people.
Wow, Kenny Jerome Clark is crazy. If it is his real name, shout out to him. But if he made that name up, that's sick.
Interesting.
But that's a great question. If Micah Parsons was still on this team, would this run defense be this good?
I mean, you wouldn't have a defensive tackle.
If you ask Jerry Jones.
I just think it's pick and choose. I don't know. I understand the overall effect that Kenny Clark is having on the interior of the defense, and even more so, like him and Osa drawing double teams, what it does for your edges. They got to capitalize. Like that's my thing. Is like, yeah, I do think it's like some give and take, and he does make the run defense has been better. It just is what it is.
It feels like you gave up one thing to get better in another area.
But he kind of is
y'all,
like
please.
a double package. Full package, because he's leading the team in pressures, I believe, right now. So
And that's telling.
you're getting your pressure from
telling.
Kenny Clark. You're getting your run defense from Kenny Clark. Also, by the way, saw this stat on Twitter. Kenny Clark is 10th out of 102 defensive tackles this season so far in win percentage.
I thought it was an awesome point that he brought up as well about Solomon Thomas and the way that he was able to play the run. I mean, one drive in that game, like, he literally in the fourth, if I'm not mistaken, he quite literally almost took over that drive. And it's just because he's, number one, he's powerful, but he's able to knife through, get past those guards, and blow up those plays in the backfield. And I felt like he was so efficient in reading what the offense was doing last week as well. And to Vach's point, Kenny Clark being at the one tech and not having to have these undersized guys, respectfully, and Osa and Solomon Thomas have to take on double teams, have to do all these things. Like, it does free them up to be able to do what they do best. And I think that was the point that Vach was
100%, yeah, because this group wasn't very much exciting. You're trying to, we had to kind of settle with what Solomon Thomas was being sold as, and Kenny Clark automatically makes not only Solomon Thomas better. So I don't know why my voice getting a little froggy.
Wow. Need some water? It's great. It's all good.
But Kenny Clark makes Osa better, and he makes Solomon Thomas better, and that is a fact. And everybody who I've heard who's been covering this team for a decade and plus is saying that when's the last time we been excited about the Dallas Cowboys defensive tackles? Like,
it's been neglected.
So
I wish I could say it in a nice way, but it has. It's a position that I feel like has been somewhat pushed to the side and not been emphasized in the way that I think you should. But furthermore, also too, you're going through a lot of schematic changes. You know, one coach wants you to be three techie and wants you to get upfield. The other one's like, you know what, we need a big human in here that can two gap and all this stuff. So I think that there's difference in philosophies. Hopefully, this coaching staff. Oh Lord, we can only pray. Sometimes they gotta see results to be like, you know what? Actually,
yeah,
nose tackle is important.
And you know what? I was giving Matt Eberflus a lot of credit, mostly because the conversations I was having with some of the guys in the locker room was saying that Matt Eberflus takes what you're good at and he applies it to his scheme instead of forcing it. But I would have to say, when we're talking about a Donovan Wilson, when we're talking about Jack Sanborn in particular, I feel like that is not what was happening in the last game.
I don't know. I feel like
that's just how I saw it. So I feel like what I was hearing in the locker room and what I saw on the field didn't match up, and I don't know if that's because there's, you know, it's a Deron Bland out and we got to change up some stuff. If we just have a lot of faith in Sanborn and we're still trying to figure out how he plays in that role, but yeah, I just saw things that didn't match up to what I've been hearing.
That's fair.
All right, we're gonna take our second break. Shout out to Vosh for calling in. We appreciate you,
Love
my
you, Vosh.
dog. And yeah, he does great stuff on the break, by the way. But appreciate you. We'll take our second break here on Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign.
When you're on the field, you know what it takes to lead your team and play with confidence. But that confidence shouldn't just stop at game time. It should follow you off the field, too. Join over 500 NFL players who trust Invisalign, the #1 doctor-recommended clear aligner brand. Ready to take the first step towards a smile you'll love? Visit Invisalign.com/NFL and find a doctor near you today. Transform your smile and take your confidence to the next level, both on the field and off.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
How does the cheerleader's hair always look so perfect? We asked, and they shared one of their biggest beauty secrets. If you want hair like theirs and confidence to match, use Babyliss Pro styling tools. The Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders use Babyliss Pro curling irons to get those perfect game day curls. To get the hair you see on the cheerleaders, head to BabylissPro.com. Use the code Cowboys20 for 20% off Babyliss Pro tools, the official styling tools of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Get the discount while it lasts. Offer may be withdrawn at any time at advertiser's discretion.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
Are you a Cowboys super fan? The search is on for the 2025 Fan of the Year presented by Captain Morgan. Now through September 29th, nominate extraordinary NFL fans, dynamic duos, and game changers who rep the Cowboys with pride and turn every game day into an unforgettable adventure. You could be sent to Super Bowl 60. Enter to win at NFL.com/Fan of the Year today.
Wait, so you
Wake
enter
up!
a Wow.
I didn't read it with
wasn't expecting that
I didn't read it with enough enthusiasm.
My bad. No, so you enter, become the fan of the year, and you get to go to the Super Bowl?
Super Bowl 60.
Wow.
You got a chance.
I don't know about
where the
y'all,
Cowboys are going to be, right?
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
You're going to be able to see. No, for real.
I never been to a Super Bowl. It's one thing I haven't done.
Me either. Wow.
I got Joe Burrow, national college football, beating on Clemson.
Facts. It's pretty fun. Great. All right, ladies. We are back with more Girls Talk, Boys Talk. Brianna Aldridge, Nicole Hutchison, and Aisha Morrison. And I do want to stick to that edge rush room, just because the Cowboys can see some advantages there in terms of the Bears tackles. Who do you need to see more from in this Cowboys edge rush room in Week 3? Anybody? All right,
I was
cool.
going to say everybody, but that sounds...
No. I was thinking.
Bye. All right, we're done. I'm just kidding.
I mean, from a pass rush standpoint, you need to see more from Sam Williams. You need to see more consistency from Dante Fowler. It's just like we just talked about, with these tackles and you thinking you should be able to take advantage of them. Hey, listen, I ain't trying to be funny. I ain't trying to hold y'all. Shouldn't at no point a third string tackle be able to just do whatever he want to do with your defensive lineman? Like, it just wasn't enough last week. And so for me, I just think, I want all of them to kind of come forth and put up the effort. But specifically, Dante Fowler and Sam Williams have to come on with it. With Marshawn Nealon and Izaraku, those guys, I'm kind of like, well, they're still getting a feel. They're still nuggets, whatever. But these veteran guys, and even with Sam, I know Sam is coming back from injury.
Right.
And he's still trying to, he's never been a really bendy guy. He's always been kind of a more stand-up straight type player. But, yeah, like, him and Dante Fowler got to come on with it.
I think everybody wants to see more of Sam Williams just because, again, you didn't get to see anything from last year, and then he comes back. He's had been playing with his head on fire all through training camp. Just his personality, even talking to him in the locker room, his interviews, like you want it to translate onto the field.
Absolutely.
And then I would love to see. Can we talk about James Eason? Can we talk about James Eason?
Can he get some more time?
Yeah.
I would just love to see.
I think that this is the game you do it.
Absolutely.
If you see that they left tackle can't hang, and that's predominantly where James Houston rushes forward from, go there. He has barely any snaps, and he leads the team in pressures from the edge position. Take advantage of that. Like you ladies were talking about, Braxton Jones gave up, 12 pressures in the last 2 weeks. Like, go at this guy, make him pay. So, I think that's where I would attack as well.
Yeah,
with James Houston.
Oh, we're done. Okay. Oh, James Houston. All right, bet. And this could be a possibility where we do see Jadeveon Clowney. We don't know. Brian Schottenheimer did say depends. If you leave it up to Clowney, he would be playing. Do you feel like that kind of gives you, I know we talked about it yesterday because he officially signed, but do you feel like that kind of gives you a little bit more confidence in this edge rush room when you do have a guy like Clowney who has the ability to rush the passer, also help in the run game?
He ain't played no football yet, yo.
No, not since
He ain't played no football yet?
Not since 2024.
Yeah, he still got to, adjust to game speed and everything, but I do think he does elevate your room from a standpoint of the presence and him being a veteran presence. And I do think he is going to situationally make plays and show who he has been. But maybe. I mean, I think I personally am looking for him to get his legs under him, get in game shape and all that stuff. He looks like he's in great shape. Nicole, you was with him. He looks like he's in great shape.
He said he hasn't stopped working out since last season. He said
absolutely.
Even call his agent like, I need a team and I want it to be my team.
So yeah, just seeing, maybe they throw him out there a couple times to see what he can do, let him get his feet wet and everything. Yeah, I would feel a little better if he was out there. But I also want to be smart about how they're integrating him into the defense and taking care of him as well. What you got?
Yeah. I mean, he said it himself when he was talking to the media for the first time that he expects to be out there.
He said?
He said, I expect to be out there. So if it's up to him, again, how many snaps that is, and then also where are those other snaps? Somebody has to lose snaps in that situation. So that'll be interesting to play out. But I'm all for it because of what I've saw from what the last time he was on the field. Again, if you don't get the hands on him, he will sneak by and he might not generate a ton of sacks, but he's going to disrupt the quarterback. And then when you're talking about Caleb Williams, I think this is the perfect person in this situation because he's not a Russell Wilson, right? He hasn't seen a bunch. This is only his second year. And what the film shows is that when he gets a little bit under pressure, he makes mistakes. And then you're talking about a weak O-line. Vach is talking about, to go after the left tackle, right tackle. I feel like this is the perfect game that you want Clowney in and see what he can do because he's proven that he can disrupt some things back there. So I'm all for it, honestly. Like, can it hurt? That's my thing. Like, not to be like, but can it hurt?
Yeah, I mean,
now we're talking about how badly you need some pass rush outside of the interior guys.
What we expect for, I'm assuming that we'll see Reddy Stewart again this week, and if we do see him, he does have some work to do in the slot. DJ Moore is their slot receiver. He's a guy that they use inside and outside. They use behind the line of scrimmage. They use him to clearly. He's kind of a do everything guy, but he hasn't been targeted that much. Sounds like they do want to get him going. Sounds like they do want to get him involved in the passing game. How does Reddy Stewart deal with that and also deal with having to come up and tackle him and deal with some of the things that they're trying to do running the ball with him is something that I'm keeping an eye out on as well when it comes to this Bears offense. They just trying to get right, y'all. Like I know that this is because going down 0-2 is one thing, going down 0-3, and especially in their division,
it's different.
Oof, they don't have the room to do that. And this is a new head coach, new staff. I'm sure they feel the pressure to make sure that they are, kind of getting back into the fold. So I expect for them to throw a lot of stuff at you.
Yeah.
Personally. I expect for them to throw a lot of stuff at you. And like I said, more importantly, also try to get some of their young guys, these wide receivers, get them involved in this game. Also, they do a lot of 12 personnel, which is normal for a Ben Johnson offense. They do a lot of 12 personnel. how do your edges dealing with the run, but also being able to have the energy? And that's going to be interesting on how Eberflus decides who he's gonna. I think who he has in at the start of this game will tell me a lot from a defensive standpoint, especially if he expects more run or more pass to start the game, because the Bears have been pretty efficient on first down. They're getting over 5 yards in most first down situations. It's just the back end of things after that that they struggle at. So how does Dallas come out and defend?
Yeah, I think it's going to be who can commit the least mistakes.
That's fair.
Bears commit
really good way to put it.
2 turnovers in the first half. The fumble really, in my opinion, changed the momentum of that game because, like I said, they came out hot, like they did. They gave up 8 penalties. So it's going to be coming down to who can take care of the football because, again, I don't think either one of these rosters is good enough to overcome it. And I think the Cowboys would have lost that game if the Giants weren't giving them a penalty party. Like, that's just the facts of it. So I don't want to see the Cowboys play down to their opponent. I think they are the better team overall. I think when you have Dak Prescott versus Caleb Williams, I'm putting my money on, again, we don't bet here because
We don't do that here.
that's against the rules. Just finish my stuff there. I like to put that out. But if it's Dak Prescott versus Caleb Williams, I'm putting, money on Dak to get it done. He's playing incredible. He's the reason why, again, the Cowboys potentially had the opportunities to win against the Philadelphia Eagles in week 1. And he's the reason why they were able to win again last week when they probably didn't deserve that one. But when you have Brandon Aubrey and you're putting him in the position close enough to field goal range, even out of field goal range, he's going to make it happen. So, yeah, I think the Cowboys, as long as they don't have those self-inflicted wounds and they don't beat up on themselves and make it harder, this shouldn't be a problem, especially when they were able to shut down Philly's 2 wide receivers in week 1 because their running back situation is confusing. I think they're confused. Everything's in DeAndre Swift just feeding. I'm sorry.
Please.
They're just week 1, DeAndre Swift was the only person who ran the ball outside of Caleb Williams and your wide receiver, DJ Moore. That was week 1. That was the week 1 running back plan. And then it's so I couldn't even tell who the running back, they don't have a 1-2 punch. And Ben Johnson's coming from a place where they had a clear 1-2 punch. So that's interesting to me how they're just putting all their faith in one guy.
Yeah.
He's not the bursty guy. He's kind of like a Javonte Williams, in my opinion, and they're just feeding him like crazy. So
Javonte's vision is better, too.
Hello.
Oh,
I like ours better.
All right, well, we're done here. Gotta go. What? And we're gonna talk more. I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
Well,
no, we're talking more Cowboys offense tomorrow, breaking it down against the Bears defense, and I think that everybody can say here that they feel a little bit more confident in this Cowboys offense. Hopefully the defense can clean up some things ahead of this matchup on Sunday. But yeah, we're breaking down offense. It'd be a lot of fun to see what these ladies have to say. But for now, we gotta go. But wake up with us tomorrow at 8 a.m. For Brianna Aldridge, Aisha Morrison, I'm Nicole Hutchison. We'll be back here tomorrow.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!